Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're here today with another challenge video. So I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes, so let's get to the craft desk and get started. Now here we go with DIY number 1. Now for this DIY, you're going to need one of those birdhouses from the Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter which one you pick, it's whichever one you prefer. This one I bought for, I think it was 50 cents or 25 cents. It was missing that little slat. So you know me, I take my blinds out and I'm going to create a slat that goes in there. Now what you see here is one of those long vertical blinds. My husband is a upholsterer and he works with these at his work, and he had some left over that they were going to be thrown away, and he brought them home and said, "Can you use this for your crafts?" I said, "Absolutely sure can." So what I'm doing, what you see me doing, is cutting the little pieces for each one of these sections of the roof. If your roof's totally flat, you can take and cut out one bigger piece the same way I'm doing this. So I'm going to get all my little slats cut and get these hot glued on. Now, as I was getting ready to glue those on, I decided, you know, it might be better if I paint this first. So I already had 2 of the little slats on. So I just worked around those and made sure I didn't get any paint on them. Now, if you already glued yours down, what you can do is put painter's tape over it to protect it. And I felt like I was able to get around that, and so I'm making sure I'm painting the edges but not painting all of that wood up there on the roof. And then after I got that done, I went and took some of these little I finished gluing the rest of the roof on. Then I got these little decorative pieces from Amazon, and I just showed you the little thing where I got them from, and so pause the screen if you want to order these. And what I'm doing is I'm painting it with this Candy Apple Red by Apple Barrel, and when it dries it's supposed to have a little bit of a shine to it. And so I'm going to get these painted and then I'll get these glued in place. Now while those are drying, I got out my Waverly Antiquing Wax and one of those little flower pots that you can get in a package at the Dollar Tree. I got the biggest one out of the package, and what I'm going to do is put some of this Waverly white wax on and remove what I don't want on there, and then I'm going to let it dry. And then after I get that done, now I'm going to glue the little decorative pieces on the roof line, and I'll put one in the front and one in the back. And I was looking to see where else they would look cute, but in the end I decided to put it on the back, not the front. And then the next thing I did is I took one of these little sticks that I have, and because I had that gap in my roof line, I put the little stick up there because I thought the stick would make it look more like something a bird would use. No, that makes sense. And then the next thing I did is I took 2 more of those little sticks. I cut one into little rails, and I cut one the length of the porch on the little house. And what you see me doing here is I'm attaching these with super glue to make sure that they stay held in place for permanent. And then I'm going to take that and glue it to the front of my little house. Then the next thing I did is I glued the little flower pot to the bottom of my little house, and then I'm going to take my little rail and I'm going to glue it in. Now it has to be short enough that it fits under that little peg that the little bird perches on, and I'm going to glue this with hot glue first, then I'll come back in with super glue and secure it. Now the next thing I did is I made a messy bow, and I'm going to take and glue it to the bottom of the little birdhouse and the top of the bottom of the pot. And then the next thing I did is I took some of these little yellow beads from the Dollar Tree, put some glue in them, and then I'm going to take and stick a piece of I guess it's called boxwood, And then I'm going to glue those to the sides of the porch. And then after I get those glued to the edge of the porch, I'm going to take my Sharpie marker and I'm going to doodle all over my little house to just bring it to life. And we will see the rest of this at the final reveal. Alright, today's video is an open challenge video crafted by Corie. It is a minis challenge and everything has to fit on a tier tray, and it can be spring, Mardi Gras, or St. Patrick's Day. You guys go check out Corie's channel. She's doing some awesome crafts over there. And also check out the ladies and gentlemen in the playlist that is in the description box below, because there are so many other crafters that are participating and they are doing some awesome work and you don't want to miss it. So go check them out. Check out Corie and tell them I sent you, and let's get on with the rest of the video. Alright, here we go with DIY number 2. For this DIY, I got one of these little trucks, and I know that the Dollar Tree has them. I don't know where this one came from exactly because it was given to me. So I'm going to take some sandpaper, rough it up, and then I'm cutting the top of that little pumpkin head off because I don't want it to be there on my project once I do it. Now, after I get that ready to go, I'm going to take and paint this with Rust-Oleum Linen White Chalk paint on the front and the back. Now, while this is drying, I got out my, while I'm painting with the Rust-Oleum Linen White Chalk paint, I'm going to paint the little flowers on this little cutout that you can get from the Dollar Tree, but I'm not painting the fence because I'm going to stain that with the white. I'm not going to use the white. I'm going to use the brown antiquing wax on the fence. Now that my little truck's dry, I'm going to take yellow and a different color yellow, and I'm going to take the darker side. I've got my brush double loaded, and when I say double loaded, I'm dipping my brush in the yellow and the King's Gold paint, I think is what the other one is. One's lemon and one's King's Gold. And I'm going to put the outer color of the truck to be darker, and I'm going to paint it to the outside of that. And then I'm going to just continue to go all the way around where I think the truck would be, the edges of the truck would be. And then I'm going to just fill that in by just painting back and forth, and I'm not going to worry about what shading it does because that's what's going to give it character, is by letting it color itself in by just doing that and blending it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is take and paint my little tires in, and with the black it's not black chalk paint, it's black that you get, that's the multi-surface paint from Apple Barrel, because it makes your tires shiny, and that's what I wanted for this project, so that's what I'm putting on here. Now I've got my little flowers painted on the other side, and what I'm doing here is I am taking and adding 2 little sticks to the back of this picket fence so that when I glue it to the truck, it has some space in between it. And I just painted my little flowers. There's other videos that I did that show how I painted those, if you want to go back and see, because I don't paint with just one color. Now I stick this down and hot glue it down, and then I decided that I need a little sign for the door, so I'm taking a paint stick and I'm going to cut off the piece that I need. And you see I just drew in a little line where I thought it needed to be for the size, and I'm going to cut this, paint it with Rust-Oleum Linen White Chalk paint. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, while that's drying, is I'm going to take 2 buttons. And I didn't have the same size buttons for both tires, but I had 2 red buttons, and one was bigger and one was smaller. So you always put the bigger button in the back and the smaller button in the front to make it look right. And then the next thing I'm going to do is where I made that little place to be able to have space between the truck and that little flower thing, I am going to stick these little flowers down in there and glue them down. Now once I get all my little flowers glued in place like I want them, I'm going to take that little sign that I made for the truck, and I'm going to use my pencil. And what you see me doing is I'm going to write flowers, 25 cents or something like that. And what I did is I wrote out the word flowers and found the middle letter and put that at the very top, and then wrote backwards from there, and then to fill in the word like you see there. Then once I get it on there and it looks like I want it to look, then I'm going to go and take my Sharpie marker and go over all my letters, and this just turns out too cute, you guys. And we're going to glue this to the truck. Now once I get that glued onto the truck, what you see me doing here is I'm going and doodling on my truck, and I'm going to use my fine Sharpie marker to go all the way around. You don't have to be neat. Notice those lines are all squiggly. And then I took one of my Posca paint markers that was white, and I'm going around and doodling on the wheels. And we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now at this time, we'd like to give a special thanks to our subscribers. We love you bunches, and we really appreciate you subscribing to our channel. And here we go with DIY number 3. Now for this DIY, I got some of these little rounds from the Dollar Tree, and this little round that says Farm Fresh from the Dollar Tree. And I took 2 of those little rounds. Now one of them I'm going to take and cut in half with my miter shears. And once I do that, I'm going to take and glue it to the top of my little, my little stump, I guess is what you call it. I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue combination and glue this down. Now once I get my little stand ready, then the next thing I do is I take some of that Crafter square twine, and I'm going to go all the way around my little sign with that, and using very little glue to glue that on because I don't want it to press through and show on the front. Then once I get that done, then I'm going to take some hot glue and put it on my little stump, and I'm going to glue this straight to it. So now it will sit up on my little tier tray. And the next thing I did is I made a messy bow for this out of various pieces of scraps of material. And then I added it to the top of my little sign, and we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now here we go with DIY number 4. Now this DIY is really simple. You're going to take one of these little plaques from the Dollar Tree, and I took the paper off, flipped it over, and glued one of my little rooster signs to it. And then I'm going to take and put a messy bow on this and glue it down with hot glue and E600. I do go back and put some other glue back in there, and then we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Alright, today's video is an open challenge video hosted by Crafted by Corie. It is a minis challenge, and everything has to fit on a tier tray, and it can be spring, Mardi Gras, or St. Patrick's Day. You guys go check out Corie's channel. She's doing some awesome crafts over there, and also check out the ladies and gentlemen in the playlist that is in the description box below, because there are so many other crafters that are participating, and they are doing some awesome work, and you don't want to miss it. So go check them out, check out Corie, and tell them I sent you, and let's get on with the rest of the video. And here we go with the final reveal.
Guys, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these turn out just adorable? Those little dupes, I think something, I sure do. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and look at these Isn't this absolutely gorgeous for a little tier tray sitter? And I love that rooster, and I love the chicken as well, and I'm sure that my daughter is going to love them too. So, you guys, if you like this content, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you bunches. We love you bunches. And if you like this content, subscribe. Yeah, I said that already. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I messed up. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these turn out absolutely gorgeous? I love this one, I love the rooster, and I love the little chicken, and I'm, why did I do that? Alright, y'all, give us that big thumbs up, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you later, bye!